Hello, I'm Rachel Belton, and I'm doing my final presentation on HIV and AIDS, which is a sexually transmitted infections that are one of the leading causes of death in America. So HIV, also known as the human immunodeficiency virus, is a virus that attacks cells to help the body fight infections, making a person more vulnerable or susceptible to other infections and diseases. So it decreases the body's ability to fight off diseases, such as if you have a cold, the cold can become severely deadly because your white blood cells aren't able to fight off the cold. HIV can be spread by contact of certain bodily fluids, such as having unprotected sex, which is without the use of contraceptives, and sharing of drug equipment, such as needles. It was first detected in 1981 in America, and it was originally known as the gay disease because it was first found in 5 healthy gay men. AIDS, also known as the acquired immunodeficiency disease, is a progression of HIV. So if you have HIV and you don't get it treated, it progresses into AIDS. It becomes present when the body's immune system is severely damaged from HIV. So it's the severe loss of body cellular immunity, and in return, it's harder for the body to fight off infectious diseases. People most at risk. Due to popular belief and research, people who are supposedly the most at risk are people in low-income neighborhoods identifying as young, Hispanic, or African American, and/or gay men. The CDC conducted research that showed in 2018, youth aged up 13 to 24 made up 21% of the 37,832 new HIV diagnoses. That during this age period, students primarily who are in high school or college are the most sexually curious and are the most sexually active in sexual activities and sexual intercourse. So usually they are most susceptible into using contraceptives and having protected sex or getting tested for STDs. The CDC also did research in 2018 regarding the African Americans accounted for 26%, so 9,756, while Hispanics contributed 20% of the 7,722 of the 38,738 new people who were diagnosed with HIV in the US. So people in low-income neighborhoods identifying as African Americans and Hispanics and gay men were found most susceptible to having the HIV virus. So why is HIV/AIDS important to public health today? So public health is the science that serves to protect and improve the health of people and their communities. They work by promoting healthy lifestyles and also to promote injury and disease prevention. Public health officials have to find the source of the disease and where it spread most. So regarding HIV and AIDS, it is most prevalent in low economic communities and found primarily in minorities. The disease can also be found within people who have less than a high school degree who weren't properly educated and informed on sexual education and how important it is to have safe sex and to get tested. So this is important because HIV, since the source is primarily in low economic neighborhoods, public health officials, which found the primary source where it is spread most, they can now help decrease the chances of more people contracting it. Treatments for HIV and AIDS. Currently, there is no cure that exists for HIV or AIDS, but there are treatments that can prolong life, such as the anti-retrieval therapy, which is known as ART. It is a treatment used for HIV and AIDS. This treatment can dramatically slow down the disease's progression, prevent other infections, and also prolong life. For example, Magic Johnson, who was first diagnosed with HIV in 1991 or 92 from having numerous sexual partners without using condoms. So since he was first diagnosed, he's been using the anti-retrieval therapy. Mainly because of his wealth, he has been able to afford medication to manage the virus so it doesn't spread and worsen over time. He has now been living with HIV for 20 years. Another HIV medication is post-exposure prophylaxis, which is also known as PEP, which can be taken 3 days after exposure to HIV and helps lower the risk of contracting the disease. So if you feel that you have been exposed to HIV, the pill is to be taken within 3 days after the exposure. It can be taken 3 times a day for 28 days. What else can be done to prevent HIV? Schools can make sexual education classes mandatory for middle school, high school, and even college. And I know that they do discuss sexual education in middle school and high school, but it's usually just a more so brief conversation about it, like giving birth and basic STDs. But schools can express how important it is to have safe sex, to practice safe sex. They can also freely distribute condoms for students who can't afford them by putting like a bowl by their desk during the presentation so students can come up freely and grab whenever they need to. These classes can also stress the importance of making sure that you and your partner who are sexually active have been tested for any diseases, because this can save your life and the other people's lives who you are sexually active with. And also, if someone is struggling with drug addiction, because drug addiction is another cause that can lead to HIV or AIDS, reach out for help immediately. You are not alone in this situation. So this was the reference I used throughout my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.